It's very important to practice aloud and to hear your voice in your own ears talking. Because the more you hear yourself talking, the more you construct your sentences better. And the more you learn to think on your feet and organize your thoughts properly. Sometimes, if you don't, and you just read through things silently, you lose your train of thought, especially in a conversation. But composure gives you the sense of control, saying the meaning of I'm here, listen to me, and pace your words. Don't feel pushed. Don't feel the urge to say as many things as possible. Make sure that you are in control and try to say things in a concise way, but make sure that you have the clarity that is necessary to answer the question. I think one of the challenges that most people face when they are being interviewed is the urge to answer quickly and to run past the question and give the interviewer the sense that they know what they are talking about. That doesn't take you very far, because eventually when you are caught on a question that you need more time to think, you start getting worried if you delay responding. But if you have practiced it and passed your response rate at the beginning, the interviewers will calibrate the pace at which they're asking you questions based on the pace that you are answering the questions. There's nothing wrong with gesturing in an interview, but make sure you do it in a way that shows that you are in control, because they need to know that you are here. Or one of the useful tricks that I found when you're answering questions on an interview is to make sure that I have a background and I'm focusing on something. In actual fact, I make my screen the big screen on my computer. So I'm looking at myself. Then I look at a point on that screen. So as you talk, look through the circumference or the square of that picture. You can change your positions within that box. Avoid going past, because then your eyes wander around. This trick works for not just you. Even if there are 5 people, they think that you are looking at each one of them. So they think that you are paying attention. But also putting your own picture as the big picture helps you to see what you are doing. It helps you to control how you are reacting without telling the other people that you are worried. If you are worried, you can start seeing it yourself and you can sort of make adjustments and try to change. But avoid over-focusing on yourself as looking at your body. Look at an object within the picture. If you're looking at an object, you can think while you're looking, like I can look at the laptop and start thinking while I look at the laptop. But as I'm looking at the laptop, you think I'm looking at you. You don't see that I'm not. So that's a very interesting way of managing. The idea of looking at a document which is that big can also create some nervousness. Just be careful about it. Good to put some few notes that are not as big. That probably can give you some points for something that you know will likely be asked. For example, tell me about yourself. You could probably put a few notes around analytical, passionate. You know what that reminds you. Because what happens is if you focus on a particular object, we will eventually see that you are probably looking at something. Whereas when you are looking at the screen, we know you are looking at the screen. You can quickly have a glance on an object and bring your eyes to the screen without focusing on that object. For example, if you need just to look at a word, passionate, you can see passionate, and then you can take your eyes off quick.
What will be the best answer for why do you leave your previous organization?
So you could say, I decided to leave my previous employer because I wanted a career break, especially after the parental leave. I didn't want to rush back to work. I just wanted to make sure that everything is okay before I start looking for a new role. If they say, okay, so what are you looking for in a new role? You are looking for growth. Growth as in, I'm looking for opportunities that allows me to grow and to learn new things and be able to take more responsibility, because eventually I see myself being able to head a department or take some other senior positions as time goes on. There are key points that I've said. I've talked about growth. Growth could be explained in many ways, but one of the ways that you could talk about growth is the fact that it's still a management accounting role, but obviously in a different organization. So there's something to learn which is different from what I've been doing. So I will be growing by learning something new in a new industry. Growth could also be in terms of taking more responsibility, maybe getting a senior job. You could also emphasize taking more responsibility as a separate point, as in the sense of I'm willing to maybe take a job of my supervisor if he were to resign at another point in the future, because I will have learned new skills and so on and so forth. That's also of taking more responsibility. That's important to say at the beginning because people want to employ someone who is looking to move up at some point. Because if there's nothing so boring as to employing someone who just wants to be a payroll clerk until they finish their employment there, because they know.
But your manager will be in the interview meeting, so he or she will think, you're not joining us yet, and you are now thinking replacing me.
No. There's nothing wrong with saying that I'm looking for opportunities in the future to grow and take more responsibility, because eventually in the future we expect you that if you enter in the role as a management accountant, after 10 years, you can't just remain as a management accountant. Certainly, that's not the kind of person we want. We want someone who is looking for opportunities later on. So emphasize that it's later on. Everyone understands that. Because I wouldn't want to employ a person who is going to be an accounts clerk for the next 20 years. Honestly, I wouldn't give you a job because you have a poor mindset. You are not a person who has ambition. You are probably the 9-to-5 person who, when there's overtime, you probably say, no, I'm okay with what I'm doing. I'll come back tomorrow.
Okay.
But if you have an ambition, you are probably going to say, I will do it and I learn everything. And if there's something, so and so is not there, give it to me. I'll try to do it. And then you teach me and then I learn something. Or if the supervisor then goes on leave, the supervisor can actually say, here is something new that you need to learn, and you can take the responsibility. So we need some kind of ambition from the person. We want to know that right at that point you are entering the organization, you have some kind of ambition eventually to take more responsibility. And if the opportunities arise, for example, at a senior level, you can move. It doesn't necessarily need to be your supervisor leaving, but it could be in another department, finance, maybe creditors or debtors department, or it could be.
When they ask for salary expectation, should I give them a range or what's the best way? Because agencies always started with that question. So
one of the things that I discourage people to do, people should never say that I'm looking for this range to that range. No. You need to be as honest as you can, because agents are not employers. They connect you with employers. They get a commission based on how much you are going to be paid. If it's rate per hour, they also want to negotiate, to bargain with you. So you need to be very firm on your rate with agents if it's per hour. If you are going to be paid through the agents, then you need to be firm on your rate. But if they are going to recruit you for another employer, they get a fixed fee. You can actually even ask them, what is the rate for this job? Give me an idea. If you're talking to agents, you can do that during the interview with an agent. That's fine. But you should have an idea. Don't go to war without knowing your enemy. You should go to Hayes recruitment. There is a salary scaling they do. You can quote Hayes. You can quote your previous salary. In short, go prepared. And if they say, okay, we are offering you this fee, you'll be prepared to take. The other thing is also let whatever you're going to say be a minimum comfortable. Because if it's not a minimum comfortable, let's say you say a figure and then they then say, okay, we'll give you that. Then afterwards you start thinking I made a mistake, you'll be very unhappy with that job.